This is the Inductrix FPV by Blade. It is a Inductrix with improved motors and a camera built in. So a little bit about this model. This is an iteration of the original Inductrix design. I picked it up from my local hobby shop, Great Hobbies. You can see what their stock in all locations at www.greathobbies.com. I just wanted to show you the basics and show you some comparisons. This is the bind and fly model, so you get the drone, a charger, and a battery. The battery is a new version of this micro Inductrix Nano QX style. It is a 200 milliamp hour 45C battery. As far as I know, the charger is exactly the same, but we will compare. The Blade stuff all uses SAFE. It's a poor acronym in my opinion. It stands for Sensor Assisted Flight Envelope. And all that means is that when you're in stability mode, it limits the pitch, and it also has the auto level. Alright, so it is another innovation. Well, not really. What it is it's a response. So what people had been doing is taking the original Inductrix and putting a micro camera on it, and it got deemed to the term to be tiny whoop. This is essentially the new official tiny whoop. Real name, Inductrix FPV. For those of you who don't know, FPV stands for first person view, which means that there is a camera on it, and if you're going to fly an FPV, you fly via the camera. So you are essentially pretending that you are inside the craft and you are flying it from that point of view. This just came out. It is October 2016. So what came out first? 3 years ago or so, we have the Nano QX. Very, very popular model. It started off, the whole micro generation came with a 150 milliamp hour 25C battery. And same idea, sensor assisted flight envelope. This is one of the best trainers that you could get at the time. The downfall with it is that the frame is extremely flexible. You know, anything that has a flexible frame, it's resilient. It'll take a beating, but it really dumbs down the ability to do crisp maneuvering. After this came out, then the whole FPV craze took off, and so they added and they made a model something like this. It was called the Nano QX FPV. This is the original Spectrum VA1100 micro camera. This came out 2 or 3 years ago. Things have gotten better and prices have come down. This thing has taken a beating. My cloverleaf antenna is quite beat up now, but it still works, and I use it from time to time. I just have Velcro on it and put it on other vehicles that I want to fly via FPV. And it runs on the exact same battery that this does. So there is methods where you can solder it together. I could have made my own FPV Nano, but I wanted to be able to use this separately on multiple aircraft. Then, after the Nano generation, we got the Inductrix. This is the Inductrix, the first Inductrix. It came out, I should look up. I think it came out in 2014, possibly 2015. And this is what really took off, set the craze to build the tiny whoops. It has a ducted fan design, which has the benefits of allowing you to bump into things and still keep flying. So people were taking the shells off of this, putting this camera on, and making a tiny whoop. In order for this to perform effectively, you really need to upgrade the motors. So to me, I decided not to do that, and I bought the new one. So this new one comes with already upgraded motors. It comes with a better camera than the VA1100. It is a 10 milliwatt video transmitter. The video transmitter on the official Inductrix FPV is a 25 milliwatt, so you'll be able to fly twice as far away without getting a total breakup of your signal. Okay, so let's quickly get into the unboxing. All of this documentation. I didn't read all the documentation, but there's one thing that jumped out at me that was kind of funny and kind of sad at the same time. This is the warranty sheet. It says, if you are operating this product in North America, you're required to have an amateur ham radio license. Why? How crazy is that? You know, the regulations for this stuff is getting to be a little bit insane. This is a very short range device, and they want you to have a ham license. Okay, so we have the battery. The battery is the new 200 milliamp hour 45C. So this is a new battery that has been introduced. If you're going to buy a battery now, you might as well get this one. It is comparable to the old. Here's the 200 milliamp. Here's the 150 45C. And then there's the original, which is the 25C. Let me see if I have one of those. Yep, right here. And here's the 25C. So they've gotten a little bit bigger each generation as things have improved. If you're going to be flying with the camera on, you might as well get the big boy. So if you're going to buy a new one, just go for the 200 milliamp hour. It's essentially the exact same price as the old 150 45, and these are have still held their value as well. There's really no reason to buy the 25C. So let's see, that's the battery differences. Let's see if the charger is any different. So this is the charger that came with the new Inductrix FPV. It is a Flight 1008. DC input is 350 milliamps, so that's really low. That means that this will run on any computer, any 0.5 amp USB, and the output is 4.2 volt at 300 milliamps. So let me just check to see if this is exactly the same as the other ones that I have. Flight 1008 and an Flight 1008. Yeah, so they're exactly the same. I'm starting to get a collection of these. Somewhat useful actually, so when it comes time to charge up all your batteries, and speaking of batteries, I did buy some of the new Flight 200 milliamp hours, is the part number, and they're $10 Canadian, probably a lot less in US. So batteries are cheap. That's the one nice thing about this micro style, is that components and batteries and everything is really, really affordable. Continuing on with the unboxing, so you get the battery, the charger, the documentation, and really the only thing that's left is the drone itself. Packaging. You might want to keep this. Keep your things organized. Right? So the packaging takes up a small amount of space, and you can actually use it to store your batteries and your charger. So it might be worth holding on to. Okay, so here we have the new Inductrix FPV. Its design is, I don't know, it's okay. It's very much Minion-like. Minion being those little yellow aliens from the movies. I think they are going to introduce some other colors later. It's a hard shell, which is unique because all these other ones, the original used a Lexan shell for weight savings, and also you got two different colors in the box. There was a blue one and a red one with the original Inductrix, and the same with the Nano QX. There was a yellow and a green of the Lexan shell. 2 grams heavier than the original Inductrix, which is actually pretty good considering you have a new camera and an actual plastic hood. Motors themselves are more powerful. That is the reason why I feel like this was a good value, is that I'm getting already the more powerful motors, a better video transmitter than I had in the VA 1100, and you know, it's a whole new drone, whole new frame, a whole new everything. So if something breaks, I have spare parts, spare props, spare frame in this. The flight controller board has apparently been tweaked a little bit. This one is an Inductrix V4 when I looked at the model numbers. I don't know what changed between V1 and V4, and I have no idea what version this is because I just took it out of the box. We have a dipole antenna, which adds to the robustness. So if you crash, you're not going to smash your antenna off, which was the big problem with this one. And that's why it's all broken, is because you fly, you crash. And the cloverleaf metal antenna, while it does give you some advantages, it is a more fragile design. And if you were looking for a way to protect it, that just adds weight. So I'm okay with this dipole antenna. I have seen some reports online already that its performance is fine. Okay, let's give the new Inductrix FPV a little test. I have not charged the battery, so it probably shipped with a storage charge, which would be about half. So let's just turn this guy on. There's no power switch with these. You just hook up the power. It does have LEDs, white on the front and red on the back. And it should be video transmitting now. So if I turn on this monitor that I have, now it's in bind mode, looking for a radio signal. If I turn on this monitor that I have, Now immediately I was on the right channel, which is kind of interesting. So here I am, and the lights and this and that, but yeah. So that is how you fly FPV, as if I was flying around the room, and then you land. Pretty neat. It does run on the, I believe it runs on the Fat Shark race band. And so there would be 8 channels. You can change the channel of the video transmission with this button. If I press this button, it should change my channel, and it did. So, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, more than 8 channels. I seem to cycle through 10. And my monitor has an auto scan ability, so I can figure out what the frequencies are later. I actually have one of the ready to fly version controllers. So this is the Blade MP4 DSM, DSMX with the ready to fly version of a Nano QX, an Inductrix, or this quad. You can buy a ready to fly version of this, which includes this transmitter and a monitor like this. The monitor is smaller, a 4-inch version with the transmitter and a mount. Anyway, this is looking for a bind. So in order to quickly bind it, you just hold down this stick, turn it on, go into bind mode. Bound. Now I should have control. Okay, I'm going to give this a very quick fly around my very small office. Keep in a closed area, but let me just see how I do trying to fly FPV. That is trippy. Here I am. Pretty cool. I'm losing battery. So I did not charge the battery out of the box, but that was a very quick example of what FPV flying is like. Okay, lastly, I just wanted to mention that on the go, playing and charging, if you have a USB battery brick, this one's a fancy one with a solar charger and 2 USB ports, then you can charge your batteries on the go. If you've bought any of the planes or quadcopters that include this type of 1S 150 milliamp hour battery, all the chargers are the same, and you can be charging multiple batteries on the go.